Welcome to Physics 1010. This is Professor Zollinger. This is the first video of our semester. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the course. Before I explain how the course is going to operate, I think it's important that you fully understand what you're getting yourself into by taking this specific summer online Physics 1010 course. Please understand that this is not going to be a traditional online course. It's what I'm calling an emergency online course. Traditional online courses are developed over a period of about a year. They're carefully refined and polished, and when they're introduced to students, they're complete and ready to go. That's not what you're going to get this semester. I've had about a week to create this course, all because of the COVID-19 suspensions of face-to-face classes. So what's basically going to happen is I'm a few days ahead of you guys, and you won't necessarily be seeing a nice polished product just because we haven't had the opportunity. That's the situation we find ourselves in. I was ready to teach this class face-to-face. It's the transition to online that's really going to be a problem. So here's the consequence. Due to time restrictions, this course is essentially going to follow the same pace and structure of what our face-to-face class would have been. Really, the only difference is that you're going to watch video lectures of me rather than meeting with me in class. The original schedule was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, about 2 hours each of those days, and then of course you would need to spend time on personal study and homework outside of class. This is the schedule I'm going to strongly recommend you follow throughout the semester. I won't necessarily have an hour and 50 minutes of video each day, but I am expected and obligated to cover the same amount of material during the summer as I would in a regular semester, and we're under an accelerated time frame, so I have a lot of material to cover. So the videos are going to be rather long, so you should expect a significant time commitment for this class. So please keep that in mind. This won't be a course that you can just maybe sneak in a few hours a week and get by. You really have to commit right now to several hours a week, and if you're concerned about that, then perhaps you should consider taking the class at another time and not doing our summer course. Okay, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of the class necessarily. I just think it's important that you understand what you're getting yourself into. All right, so let's move on to some of the basic policies and administration of the course. Let's start with the textbook. We do have a textbook. I've sent out a few emails about it. It's Conceptual Physics by Paul Hewitt. It's the 12th edition. This book has been out for 5 or 6 years, so there should be plenty of used copies available online. I strongly suggest you don't pay full price for the textbook. There should be plenty of options. I chose this textbook because I think it's pretty well written. It's relatively short compared to some other textbooks, and it reads pretty easy. So I'm expecting that you are reading the textbook because it's just good to get, and sometimes it's necessary to get a second viewpoint and a second explanation, and this is how I intend for you to receive that. So if you have any questions about your textbook, please let me know. Lecture videos. So I am following, as I said, the same Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. At least that's my expectation. So each day of what would have been our normal semester will have corresponding lecture videos. There'll be 2 to 3 videos each day. I'll break them up into smaller segments. Those will be available on YouTube. Of course, if you're watching this, you already know that. I'll create links on Canvas so that you can follow those if you want to go through Canvas, or you can subscribe to the channel. I am new to YouTube. I'm sure you'll figure that out soon enough. So if there's any issues, just let me know with that. As far as course policy goes, I have a syllabus posted on Canvas. We'll go through it quickly, but other than that, you really should refer to that syllabus and read through that at the start of the class. That's where all our policies are that you should be aware of. Okay, a couple other things I want to discuss. I will have virtual office hours. There's about 5 hours a week that I will be committed to meeting with students. Now, what these really are, I will be at my computer during these times. I will be responding to emails and other chat messages relatively quickly. There's a new app on Canvas called Pronto that I'm just discovering that you can try and use to contact me during these times, or there's email. Now, what you're going to find, or what I have found over many years of teaching, is that email is a terrible way to teach physics. It's really not a good way to pass knowledge back and forth. So I strongly recommend, if you have questions and you really want to learn, let's set up a virtual meeting. We can go through Zoom or some other program. Zoom's probably going to be the easiest. And let's talk live. That way I can write things down on, and you can share my screen, and we can communicate that way. I strongly discourage you from focusing on email or even text chatting through the Pronto app. It's just not a good way to pass knowledge. Of course, if that's your only option, then I will be available for those. Homework and exams will all be completed through Canvas. So at this point, let's actually switch over to Canvas and take a look at that. Here is our Canvas page. On our home page, I tried to put some of the most pertinent information. There's my office hours. Here are the reading assignments. Our textbook isn't small, and I don't want you to spend forever reading it, so I don't expect you to read every chapter, every section. I have only listed here the sections that we'll actually cover, that I actually will expect you to know. So if you want to use this to plan out your reading, I would strongly recommend you check this out every time you go to read the textbook. Of course, you can read as much as you want, but this will help you save a little bit of time, so which I know is obviously important. Okay, besides the textbook reading, here is our daily schedule. I mentioned my intention is to follow the schedule that I had originally planned for. So you'll see that these are each day of the semester up until the end on April 23rd. What I've listed here is the chapter we're going to be discussing and a quick little explanation of the topic. Okay, so this is how you should follow along. I would try to fit this schedule in every day, and the videos will match these topics. Okay, other important things on Canvas. If you go to your Files section, here is our syllabus. I'll let you go ahead and read through this. I know nowadays a lot of people don't read these, but this is where all the course policy is. You really should know. It's sort of like a legal document for the class. These are my expectations, and these are the things that you can expect me to follow as well. So you should read through this. I'll highlight just a couple of things. First of all, our class grading breaks down into 4 sections. Of course, there's homework, there's participation, which I'll explain here in a minute. Quizzes are a large chunk. This is where you're going to really prove your knowledge that you've gained. And there's a final project that I'll explain more about later. You can see our grading system. You can read through and look at the other policies. All right, at the end, I've included an approximate daily schedule. This is the same thing that's posted on the homepage of Canvas, so you can either look at it through the syllabus or on that page as well. Okay, let's close that. If you switch over to the assignment section, all of the assignments have been posted as far as my intended, the intended number of assignments, but they're not available. Biggest reason for that is because I haven't completed them. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't preparing to do this online. I was going to have these be turned in class. So but I've changed them now, so they're all submitted through Canvas. So you'll click on these homework assignments, complete them in Canvas, and that's the way everything will be turned in. On these homework assignments, I actually have given you the 2 submissions per homework assignment. So the idea is that if you go through it and miss a few questions, then you have a chance to go back through. You can go and see which questions were marked wrong. It doesn't tell you the right answer, but you can at least see what you did wrong, and then you can try and figure out and resubmit that. So there's really not a good reason why you can't get 100% on homeworks. The reason why I'm doing 2 submissions is I'm hoping it takes a little bit of the pressure off, a little bit of the temptation to want to cheat on these. You know, you have the opportunity and the flexibility to learn this at a good pace, and that's my motivation behind the 2 submissions. Okay, the biggest thing is these due dates. Now, we have a very rapid schedule. We're an accelerated summer course, and you can't fall behind. And so to really emphasize that, I have hard due dates. And if you want to see those, of course, they're available here in Canvas. Right now they're being shown by date, so you can see the first assignment is due May 3rd. That's the Wednesday of our first week. And so you really need to get going quickly into this course. If you want to see it by type, breaks it down into homework. There's our quizzes. We'll have 5 quizzes. These are really exams. I'm just calling them quizzes on Canvas. They'll contain information about a few chapters worth of material. And the final quiz here actually is not going to be cumulative. So this is an introductory GE level course. I felt like it really wasn't necessary to do a cumulative final. So that's the last final will just be related to the end of the semester material. There will be a final project. I'll mention that later. I'll discuss that later. This is something I've kind of thrown in recently. What was happening is I was looking at the way the course grading was, and so much of the grading was based on quizzes, and that's a lot of pressure. So I wanted to find an area where I could kind of pad your grade a little bit, and so that's the idea I had for this participation video review section. The video review quizzes are low stress. You get points just for completing them. In fact, I'd rather not have you use any notes. No, don't look up the answers to the questions. Just go with your gut. Use it as a way to test to see how well the material from the video is stuck in. So after you've watched a set of videos, in this example we have May 11th, come into Canvas, start the quiz. So let's do an example. Question 1, did you read the course syllabus on Canvas? This is a first day video, so that's why there's this boring administrative question. I wrote the syllabus, so I can proudly say yes, I've read it. If you had said no, then you would still get the full points. Okay. Normally this would be a physics question that you could test to see if you were right or wrong. If you do get an answer wrong, you'll still get full points, but I'd encourage you to go back and figure out why you got it wrong so you wouldn't miss a question like that in the future. There is one little catch though. In every quiz there's going to be a keyword question, what I'm calling a keyword question. In the videos, hidden somewhere in one of the videos of the day, I'm going to give you a keyword. That's what you're going to enter into this question. This one is actually worth points. So the keyword for today is going to be pancake. Why? Because I had pancakes and that's the word I thought of. So I would go in, I would enter pancake, and now I can get the points for that question for that day. All right, now I understand that this is, and I fully admit this is a cheap kind of mean way to encourage participation in the videos, but I think I'm gonna try it out for now. We'll see how it works out. I may actually eventually remove this or even turn it into extra credit if the course is going well. But it's also an easy way to get points too. So if you're watching the videos like you should, it really shouldn't cause any problems. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is the due dates are going to be important. You have to, the due dates are firm. You've got to stay on task. You don't want to fall behind. So it's going to be important to track these due dates. You can look at the dates on Canvas so you can see the first one's going to be due May 3rd. And there's also a video review due May 13th and a video due May 13th. So that's my thinking, is that every time there's a homework due, that's when those video video review quizzes are due as well. Ideally, you just complete them after you watch the video, but this will at least help remind you to make sure those are done. So if you've never used the calendar feature on Canvas, I'd strongly suggest you get used to it. So I only have one course displayed. If you have multiple courses, then you can activate those on your calendar. But the nice thing is this shows you all of your assignments that have been posted on Canvas and when those are due. For our class, all of our assignments and quizzes will be on Canvas, so they should all be here. You'll notice a pattern. Every Wednesday and every Saturday I have homeworks and the review questions. I haven't finished making those. But those are due in 11:59, so essentially midnight on those days. You can see the quizzes as well. We'll discuss quizzes more once we get into the semester a little bit, but what you should expect is they'll be on Canvas. You'll have to take them a specific day, so the day they've been posted, and you'll have a window of several hours that you can take it in. But once you start it, you'll have a strict time limit to complete that. So part of that is to keep us on track, and part of that is to discourage cheating a little bit with that measure. So again, please track Canvas, get comfortable with it, because this is going to be most of our course since this is online. Okay, so let's finish up this administrative stuff. We talked about homework. Just as a reminder, you have 2 submissions per homework, so use that to advantage. I'm more than happy if everybody gets 100% on homework. Late homework, I will accept late homework, but there is going to be a penalty. It's a 30% penalty. That won't hurt you much if you do it once, but if you continually do that, that will make a dent. Again, you just can't afford to fall behind. That's why I have that penalty on there. Quizzes, however, there is no makeup. So if you miss the quiz date, you're just going to have to miss the quiz. We just can't. This train is going to run full through the 6 weeks, and there's just no slowing down for that. Okay, last thing I want to address, we have been seeing a lot of cheating once classes were moved to online. We are taking measures to deal with that. I have zero sympathy or appreciation for people that cheat, so just as a warning, if I find evidence that you've cheated on any of our quizzes, you just fail the course. There's no zeros given, it's just a failure for the course. So if you don't cheat, then you don't have to worry about it, and that's strongly my suggestion. This course really isn't that difficult if you just dedicate some time to it. All right, as we wrap this up, I think this is an important question. What if I don't like to watch long videos on YouTube? Well, I agree, actually. I'm with you. I do get it. I understand. But I do have to warn you, that's the situation we find ourselves in. I've got to present the material, and I was expecting 2 hours a day, and I just can't, summarize this into 5 minutes. So in some ways, if you really don't think you can handle watching videos on YouTube, then you probably should not take this summer class. Go ahead and wait for classes face-to-face to return, or when a full online class is developed. Okay, the other advice I have for you is you have full control over the pause button. So if you're getting bored, if you're getting restless, just push pause. Go do something else, take a break, come back with a fresh mind, and finish it up. Just remember, you would have been in class for 2 hours 3 times a week, so it's actually not much of a difference. You get to do it at home and take a break whenever you want. Okay, last. I've said this before, but I really have to emphasize this. This is an accelerated summer course. We're going to be going fast. If you think you might fall behind or you have too many commitments during the summer, I'd strongly suggest you don't take this summer class. Right? You can't fall behind. It never works out to catch up, especially with an accelerated course like this. So please commit to several hours a week. If you are worried that you can't do that or you just simply don't want to, Again, I'd strongly encourage you to consider taking the class later in a face-to-face setting. I'm not trying to convince anybody to drop the class, but I do think it's important that you understand what you should commit to succeed in this class. Okay, that was a lot of boring administrative stuff, so I'm going to end there so that we can have a fresh start in our next video. Please let me know if you have questions.